Hey everyone, this is Michael again, and welcome to my review of tonight's edition of Monday Night Raw. And I thought tonight's Raw, this Raw was from Phoenix, Arizona tonight, from the Talking Stick Resort Arena out there. And I thought tonight's Raw, I thought it was a decent show. Wasn't great by any means, but it was pretty decent. It was a good, enjoyable show. Mainly because they did something, differently tonight, where this show was just full-on wrestling. There was no, segments or, anything with Kurt Angle, and even, Kurt Angle wasn't even on the show tonight. So it was just, they'd gone all-out wrestling for tonight's Raw, which was good. Because they had the Gauntlet Match that they did, which was for 2 hours, the first 2 hours of Raw. And the first match they kicked off, the Gauntlet Match, was with Seth Rollins versus Roman Reigns. And the match itself, it was slow in the beginning, but, picked up later on, the match later on. And the match itself, Seth Rollins gave it all he got in the match. He was, he killed it tonight. He was really good in this match. He lasted the longest in this match. He lasted 1 hour and 5 minutes in this Gauntlet match. But but there was a lot of rest holes in this match that I saw, but Seth Rollins ended up winning the match. He ended up winning the match with the roll-up on Roman Reigns to score the win. But so Seth Rollins won the first match. Then he got to face John Cena, which was decent also. It was good seeing him go up against Cena. He was killing it all in this match too, Seth Rollins. He at one point did the AA on Cena, which was cool, but Cena ended up kicking out of that. And Cena was doing his best to keep Seth down. There's at one point where Cena was going to go for the Super AA from the top turnbuckle. But Seth ended up reversing it, and Seth also won it. He defeated Cena with the stomp, the curb stomp, and it's so stupid how the way Cena tries to sell the curb stomp, where when Seth used to whenever Cena had a match with Seth years back, whenever Seth did the curb stomp. Cena sells it stupidly, where he jumps up and then, has his face to the mat, when Seth, kicks him, curb stomps him, which it looks stupid though. I know some people, said that and, agreed on that it looks, stupid whenever Cena tries to sell it. So then, after Seth beat Cena, he got to face Elias, which was okay. But Seth, killed it in this match also. But it ended up, sadly, because Elias got the win. He hit the drift away on Seth Rollins. And when Elias eliminated Seth, everybody was cheering for Seth, which he deserved because he was just amazing, an hour and 5 minutes in this Gauntlet match. So everybody in the crowd was thanking, Seth, doing a, thank you Seth chants. And, Seth deserved it. Because he gave a good performance in this Gauntlet match. He was pretty much the MVP of this gauntlet match tonight. So then Elias got to face Finn Balor, and this, him and Finn Balor, this was decent. Where Finn was trying his best to keep down Elias, but Elias was keeping on coming back, and trying to take out Finn. But Finn actually got the win with the coup de grace on Elias, so he eliminated Elias. And then Finn took on the Miz. Miz Taraj ended up coming out first, and then we had the Miz just coming from behind and attack Balor. And they put on, their match, and it was another decent match. And, at one point you had, the Miz Taraj getting involved in this. And the Miz ended up getting the win with the Skull Crusher finale on Balor, thanks to the Miz Taraj. So Miz actually wins the match. And then the last person to come out was Braun Strowman. So it was Braun Strowman versus Miz. And Miz was scared shitless during this, where he didn't want to compete against Strowman. He ended up running out of the ring. And, Strowman tried to stop him from escaping. And so Miz ran into the crowd. Strowman was trying to catch him. And Strowman ended up getting, his hands on Miz. And so, it went to commercial. And that's the thing with this gauntlet match. During this, this gauntlet match, there were too many commercials. Too many. But, after it came back from a commercial, we saw Strowman just, taking out Miz. And Strowman actually got the win with a running power slam to Miz to score the win. So Strowman ends up winning the gauntlet match. And after the match, we had Braun getting interviewed, and he says he doesn't fear the unknown, and that the unknown fears him. And he goes on to say that Elimination Chamber Sunday, it will be the exact same thing, as the gauntlet match, what he did in the gauntlet match. And he says that he is coming for Lesnar. And he goes on to say that at WrestleMania, if he faces, if he wins the Chamber, Lesnar is going to get, these hands, what Strowman says by, his hands. And then, Strowman's like, oh, I got some unfinished business to take care of. And then Strowman goes back down to the ring. He hits a running power slam. He hits running power slams on Miz Taraj, the Curtis Axel, and Bo Dallas. And then we see Braun end up chasing, the Miz. Miz runs to the back. Strowman ends up, going back there to find him. And then we see Braun then throw, Miz back out. And Strowman then just throws Miz down the ramp. And he ends up, putting Miz back in the ring. Tosses Miz back in the ring. And then he gives, another running power slam to Miz, which was cool. The crowd was cheering for that. And the crowd starts chanting to Strowman, one more time. They want Strowman to hit a running power slam on Miz again. And so Strowman then gives, another running power slam to Miz. And that pretty much ended it right there. But this whole gauntlet match was good. It was just straightforward wrestling. And Seth Rollins is the MVP of the gauntlet match tonight. I mean, an hour and 5 minutes in the match. Gotta give him a hand, which was good. And forgot to mention the show started off tonight before the Gauntlet match. Started with they gave a moment of silence to people, to the people, the families down there, for anybody who was harmed in the Florida massacre that happened down there. It's just really a shame, down there, with all these school shootings, which is really terrible. Feel bad for, the people down there in Florida. My thoughts and prayers are with, the families down there, for anybody who lost, person that they knew in that school shooting massacre that happened. Just it's pathetic, that we have these violence in schools where some stupid person brings weapons into schools and all like that. It's fucking terrible. Wish there was a way that they would stop, this violence. But yeah. So after the Gauntlet match, Renee Young interviews Asuka, about Nia. Asuka's heading into her match with Nia Sunday at the Elimination Chamber, and in fact, tonight was the go home show for Elimination Chamber, which didn't give you that much hype for the pay-per-view Sunday. But we had, like I said, Renee interviewed Asuka about Nia, heading into the match Sunday at Elimination Chamber. Asuka says, she conquers her own destiny, and that her destiny is to win the women's title at WrestleMania. And she says, Nia likes to talk, and she says someday Nia will stop, talking. Then we see just Nia ends up coming in, out of nowhere, and Asuka starts, going at Nia, kicking Nia, but Nia ends up giving Asuka a Samoan drop, and she ends up giving Asuka 3 leg drops. She hits 3 leg drops on Asuka. That pretty much ended that little interview that Asuka was given. I mean, there's little no hype for their match Sunday at Elimination Chamber. So, but who knows? Will Nia finally end Asuka's undefeated streak? Who knows? We'll have to wait and see. I know, Asuka's probably going to beat Nia, but we'll have to wait and see. And then we had Titus ONeil and Apollo. Yeah, they took away, they're not using his last name anymore, Apollo Crews. Now it's just, Apollo, like, what they did for Elias. His full name was Elias Sampson, and they dropped Sampson, and now they're calling him Elias. That's what they're doing for Apollo now, which is stupid. But it was Titus ONeil and Apollo versus Cesaro and Sheamus. And the match was, okay. It wasn't, great or perfect by any means. But you had Sheamus and Cesaro, trying to keep down Titus and Apollo. But in the end, Apollo ended up rolling up Cesaro for the win. And it was shocking, though. It was very unexpected, Apollo, pinning Cesaro, pinning one half of the Raw Tag Team Champions. So who knows? Is Titus and Apollo gonna, see a future, with them being the Raw Tag Team Champions? So who knows? I definitely know that WWE is probably gonna do that at some point. So, but all in all, it was an okay match. Wasn't great or perfect by any means. Sorry about that, but after we had the Titus, ONeil, and Apollo, versus Sheamus and Cesaro match, we had a promo from Bray Wyatt and Matt Hardy. Both of them were kind of promo back to back, and they were saying that something about they're gonna have a match at Elimination Chamber Sunday. So now it's gonna be Bray Wyatt versus Matt Hardy at Elimination Chamber. So hopefully that's going to be a decent match. Because I'm liking this little rivalry with Bray Wyatt and Matt Hardy. They're both crazy. They both have crazy crazy characters. So so that's going to be Sunday, Bray Wyatt versus Matt Hardy. And then we had the main event, which was a 6-woman tag team match. Sasha Banks, Bayley, and Mickie James versus Mandy Rose, Sonya Deville, and Alexa Bliss. And the match itself, it was, typical women's match. You had Sasha and Bayley and Mickie James all in the match. Taking out Absolution and Alexa, and instead of it being a 6-woman tag team match, they should have made this a women's gauntlet match. I think that would have been much better. But since the match started after I gotta say 10:40, the match started. And then you had commercials and all like that. They wouldn't have had time to do to make a gauntlet match. But I think that would have been much better. We had a gauntlet match, with the men. They should have did it for the women also. But in the end, Sasha Banks, Bayley, and Mickie James won the match. Sasha ended up applying the bank statement on Alexa. Alexa ended up tapping out. And so Sasha, Bayley, and Mickie won the match. After the match, you had Absolution, Mandy Rose, Sonya Deville. They took out Bayley and Sasha. And then it was just Mandy and Sonya and Alexa there. Mandy and Sonya were looking at Alexa. They were trying to maybe take her out. And then Mickie James ended up coming in, attacking Sonya Deville and Mandy Rose, and it was down to Mickie and Alexa. They both gave a DDT to Sonya Deville. So it was just Mickie and Alexa, Mickie helping out Alexa. So, but little to no hype for the women's chamber match though. So, but that pretty much ended the show. Ended Raw tonight. With Mickie and Alexa hitting the DDT on Sonya. And that pretty much ended Raw tonight. So, but all in all, the match itself was your typical women's match. Should have been a gauntlet match. So I think that would have been a lot better, in my opinion. So, yeah, so that's it for my review of tonight's edition of Monday Night Raw. Thank you all for watching, and be sure to give this video a thumbs up, comment, subscribe, and until the next video, which will be my SmackDown review tomorrow night, and also the Mixed Match Challenge match after SmackDown. I'm going to review both of those as usual. So until the next video, I'll see you all tomorrow night for both of those reviews. Bye.